And we can talk about tissue healing, which is a form of adaptation for sure, and I think fundamental in the process of, well, certainly of training, but obviously of injury recovery as well as an obvious point. So let's just talk about some of the different tissues like Russ threw out there. So you've heard this idea about bone, that sometimes it's better to break a bone than strain a muscle or pull a muscle. And the reason why that's said, and the reason why that comment is made, is that bone takes roughly 6 to 8 weeks. 8 weeks is kind of the general time frame for it to heal. So then you should be asking that question: what does that mean? What does it mean for it to heal? But certainly for it to stabilize and develop this strong kind of trellis formation where it comes back together and becomes solid, that's going to happen by about the 8-week mark for the most part. And of course it's going to mature and it's going to adapt over several months beyond that point, but we see that it's really quite solid at that moment. That's why you see someone in cast for 4 weeks or 6 weeks, is to give it enough time for it to stabilize. But once that bone's solid, then that's exactly what it is. It's pretty solid.
Now, Dr. Mikla, that seems so fast. Why is that so fast?
Because it has the best blood flow of all the tissues.
That's right. So when it comes to the PT land, if you break the middle of your bone, you probably don't need that much PT. It's really an easy heal. It's out of all the injuries we deal with, like, oh, I broke my bone. That's the easiest thing out there. Now, if it's close to a joint, now we're talking different tissues. But if it's purely bone, it's not that difficult because it heals. It has such a great blood supply for most people. And then I think that goes back to blood supply, good, unless we've got some other comorbidities that affect your blood health. But bone's pretty simple and pretty standard. Yep. And you can have repeat x-rays to document it. You get the little cell called an osteoclast that breaks it down. You get a little osteoblast in it that builds it up. And over the course of a fracture, you see that bone fill in through the x-ray. It's really a wonderful thing. It's really quite simple.
Yep. That's where the rest of this takes a lot longer than bone, and it's all like, if all the tissue had a good blood supply like bone did, then we really would probably be out of a job. We'd be a minor league strength coach in the form of like, hey, let's teach you how to do some strength, and then you're going to go do some heavy weights over there. But the knowledge of the healing process is critical, and if we had better blood supplies to tendons, to cartilage, people wouldn't need as much help as we provide. So those are the big components would be cartilage injury or cartilage healing, as well as tendon healing. Both of them are quite slow. So you're seeing numbers here in like the 10 to 14 week categories. Yeah. So that's 3 months of healing to be in this, using healing as the same form that we used it in bone, that the structure becomes solid, it becomes engaged, and it's not going to just pull apart.